It's me. It looks like the organization has found me. What's that? They're at my door. The only way to stop them from killing me is to change world lines by reviewing Steins. Very well then. We shall commence with Operation Verdande. Actually, Operation Review sounds like more logical. Operation Review! Just get this started already.
You better get back!
Just who the hell do you think I am?
Hey everybody, what is up, and welcome to another anime review with the TheMKninja. Hope you like that little introduction, little spiciness that I did. Since I want to do a lot more anime reviews, I decided might as well try to add a bit more flavor and character to it, since I'm going to be doing a lot more. And they're going to be starting to look like that from now on. Since Steins Gate 0 is out and is currently rocking the world, I decided why not take a look back at the successful 2011 iteration of the virtual novel, Steins Gate, one of the most popular and beloved anime to come out kind of ever. Now, there will be some spoilers in this video, and this is definitely an anime that you need to see without any spoilers. So if you want my word for it, go see it now. It is a very enjoyable show. You will have a good time, so go ahead and see it because I am going to ruin it for you. Kind of. Anyway, let's get this bitch started. Steins Gate centers around Okabe Rintaro's self-proclaimed mad scientist who, with his friends Hashida and Mayuri, creates labs in the Future Gadget Laboratory. Put it up. They create gadgets in the Future Gadget Laboratory. But one of their creations, the phone wave, happens to have a little secret hidden inside. It turns out, somehow, this little creation they have made has mastered time and is able to send text messages back in time. Being the mad scientist he is, Okabe charges forward with experiment after experiment to conquer time itself, and changes world line from world line, seeing how everything changes with even the smallest little message. But the butterfly effect slowly takes hold, and he realizes he might be making a horrible mistake as the world becomes worse and worse, and he discovers the future relies completely on him. This is definitely an anime that if you go in completely blind, you will get sidelined, and I'll take you for a complete ride because it doesn't exactly go the way you would completely expect it. Now, the first 2 episodes are a little slow in my opinion. They do have interesting parts in them, of course, as it shows these little tidbits and such that make you go, what's going on? I gotta know more. But I don't think it's till episode 3 or 4 where like the intrigue really starts and people really start saying, no, I'm gonna stick through this. I'm gonna stick through this. And admittedly, it is a little bit of a bad thing, but I feel like after those first 2 episodes, it just rockets off, and you just can't stop it. And that's also helped with the fact that this is one of the very few anime out there, even some of my favorite anime ever, don't have this trait. Every single character, like main character or supporting character, is either very likable or at the very least interesting. I'll get to the interesting part in a little bit. But every single character is good. They are well done. And that is a very difficult thing to do, but Steins Gate manages to juggle all these different characters and give them the respect that they deserve. And thankfully, our main character Okabe is one of my favorite anime characters of all time. He is so eccentric in his manner of speech. He's always doing these exaggerated movements. He always has a very high vernacular. He uses odd words. His operations always have like Greek or Latin or some other kind of roots to them. And he's a mad scientist. He always loves experimenting and isn't always concerned about the moral ethics of it, or at least to an extent. And I really like that about him. But at the very root of it, like there's a lot of points where you see like he's not exactly he's a little socially inept. Because he's put into moments where you feel like if he was had a better understanding of how to socially interact, he would handle it better. Because he even said he made the Future Gadget Laboratory because he couldn't invent friends. And but underneath all that, mad science and the high vernacular and eccentrics is actually a really great guy because he does try to be good to people. He will think of others at times, and he shows that he definitely cares about the people that are close to him. He really wants them to be safe, and he cares about their well-being. They're not just his cohorts; they're his friends. Our secondary character, Makise Kurisu, is also a very enjoyable and likable character because she starts off kind of like a little cold and such because all the strangeness of our main three kind of are a little off-putting to her for someone who's like so in-depth to the field of science and is so used to like high-tech equipment and this cold kind of lifeless feel of all of the scientists she works with. So she kind of like has gotten a little bit of that. So like when Okabe, does his eccentrics and so that she kind of wants none of it, and she's like, stop. Or she gets irritated and like she's like sort of a short temper, I guess. Or at the heart of it, she also shows that she does care about her friends and also has this love for experimenting. And of the two of them, it's like a nice balance and such because Okabe is a very eccentric character and Makise is more of a grounded character who usually thinks of like, no, you can't do this. Like whenever he brings up something like we're gonna go forward with this, she's like, no, that's impossible. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But she also has a little bit of crazy in her because she still kind of goes with the crazy such, and I do really like that. Mayuri and Hashida, the other two characters, are also very fun, very likable for different reasons. Of course, Mayuri is like so happy and peppy, and I love how she kind of like offsets some of the like the more darker and odd science fiction elements that happen. And she's always like a joy to see. Doo, doo, doo. And Hashida is a really fun character because of always like perverted gamer nerd kind of stereotypes. But he's also he's a nice guy too. So he's not exactly like a complete like cutout of what they believe like an otaku is. He also does represent like good qualities. And other characters like Suzuha, Ruka, Ferris, they're also very likable. Whenever they show up and kind of like take part of a moment, I don't think, oh, it's this person again. I think, yay, I get to see them again. I get to see characters in this world again. Whenever that happens, I like seeing these people because they're fun people, and I feel like you get an idea that they have lives outside of the main plot. And I do really love that. And it's it manages to juggle all these characters and make you feel like all of them are alive because all of them have like, oh, I want to change the past in this way or this way, and you get the feeling, oh, okay, so that's what their life is, and you just slowly dig into what their lives are like, and I think it's just extremely well handled. They're all likable and interesting. And Moeka is probably the only character who I don't think is likable per se, because it turns out, spoiler, she is working for the organization CERN, who takes over the world in the future, which is what one character who goes online by the name Michael Teeter, or John Teeter, sorry, John Teeter is saying he wants to prevent. And Mocha turns out to be working for CERN, and there is moments in the show where it's focused on her, and you see like just how kind of broken of a character she is, and I do kind of like that. She is shown to be this kind of villain character, but it turns out she's not like all there. She's more like a gear in the overall machine, and I do really like that idea. And back to John Teeter, I love how it's kind of like revealed that he's like been this character that's under the nose the whole time, being Suzuha. And it turns out like all those little weird moments you see of her like not knowing what corn was. When a helicopter goes overhead, she like gets down and is like, "No, get down." It all like makes sense. Like, oh. Although to be fair, there are some a little obvious context clues. Rewatching it for like the fourth time, you see like, okay, you get the feeling there's something really off about her, and some out there might guess she's probably from the future, isn't she? Because of the way she says certain things. But some people believe like she's like, oh, she's probably another odd character because there's a ton of odd characters who do odd things, and it unravels them to be just that's kind of who they are. So some people might not bat an eye. I didn't think about it when the first time I saw it because I was too busy and getting engrossed in all of it. So story, characters, all great. And I remember like because I haven't seen the anime for a bit. I remember the animation being like okay, like pretty good anime standards. But rewatching it, it's pretty great visually, honestly. Sure, sometimes it's more of like a static kind of anime thing, but to be fair, it's not entirely meant on completely needing eccentric movements, but there's always something going on. There's like usually some kind of movement. There are definitely many scenes of beautiful Sakuya or like the very vibrant, very smooth animation, and it just kind of creates this like otherworldly feel oftentimes that really benefits a moment. And just visually, it looks pretty damn great. One of the great things is that it goes along with its science fiction. Yeah, it's all really absurd and such. And like, oh, the microwave is a time machine. We've had a car be a time machine, so I can suspend my disbelief a little bit. But they take it step by step and they go through the process of it to make it seem like okay, that's how it would go. It takes a more realistic approach and really analyzes how this would work, and the world lines are explained, and there isn't really any questions that left just pushed away. Like everything gets explained at one point or another, and you start to understand how things work. And they just take it in a very methodical, where a character's like slowly figure out everything, and not just like, oh, it's this, and then boom, all craziness happens. It's more of a it's paced really well as they unravel the secrets of how of CERN, they unravel the secrets of the time machine, how everything works, evolving how the time machine works, and then there's the voice acting. Now, I have not seen the Japanese dub, but the English dub is incredible. Like, this is one of the best English dubbed anime out there because every performance is good, but there is one that definitely always sticks out to me because John Michael Tatum as Okabe, and he said that like he really got into the role and such, and it always gives me chills because he does such a damn good job. His screams, his inflections, his motivations, the way he just brings Okabe to life is chilling and absolutely amazing. He does he knocks it out of the park. It's one of the best displays of voice acting I've ever seen because it's like he becomes Okabe. Whenever I see Okabe, I just immediately hear Tatum's voice. That for same way that Kamina, Kyle Bear is Kamina to me. Michael Tatum is Okabe to me. Like I love his other roles, but in Okabe he feels right at home, and all the other voice acting is really good. The characters sound incredible, and it's just a fantastic dub. Musically, I personally don't think the soundtrack is too much to write home about personally. Honestly, in my opinion, that's probably the weakest element, but it does benefit the moments such like that. It does make you go like, okay, now I feel uncomfortable. Like it does help. It doesn't like it doesn't detract from the emotions that you're supposed to feel. I just feel like on its own it's a good soundtrack and it does do what it's supposed to do, but there's definitely better ones out there in my personal opinion. As well as the opening too. I think the opening is pretty good by anime standards, but rewatching it, I'm like, I think it's good, but I wanted to talk about. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it yet because I'll get to that when I do that review. But there are just trying. I rewatched the anime and I was trying to think of all right. I gotta find problems. I gotta find problems beside from the first two episodes. I gotta find some kind of problem to have with this. And I don't. Like, honestly, aside from the fact that the first two episodes are a little slow, I really have like maybe there's like a moment like that lasts for like 5 seconds that I think could have been a little stronger, but that's a huge nitpick, and that's only after seeing the show like 4 or 5 times that I notice these things. So in terms of like problems, I can't really think of any. It's a near perfect anime. It's one of my favorite anime of all time. It's actually the first anime that I went out and bought, and rewatching it, it's almost better the second time, I would say. And that's hard to do when an anime is either just as good, almost better, or very close to being just as good the second time or third time or fourth time. But I still get chills during certain moments. I still shake. I still have my heart pound. I still get invested. Steins Gate, the original series from 2011, gets a 10 out of 10. This is more of an objective thing, because objectively I think it's a near perfect anime, and the problems I have with it are admittedly very easily overlooked. So a 10 out of 10 feels like the only logical rating I would give it, and the only other anime I would ever give a 10 out of 10 personally is Gurren Lagann, even though I do have plenty of problems with it. Go watch Steins Gate if you haven't, and I don't know why you watched this entire review if you haven't seen Steins Gate, because it's fantastic. When Steins Gate Zero finishes, I will, of course, do a review on that, and I certainly can't wait. And I will not tell you my thoughts on that yet, as to keep it a secret. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out my videos. Also, make sure to check out my supporters, all that great stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.